I just have a couple of minutes, so I'd just like to give you some basic facts of the town you're in, the city you're in. I want to say something about how much we are on the move are, something about the history of integration in the city, the approaches we've chosen in the past, something very, I think, hopeful entrepreneurship. I think it's a way forward. Some words about the identity of Rotterdam versus the identity of being Dutch. Something about, of course, today, the democratic arena, getting louder and louder, some words about that. Hopefully, we're building a new inclusive narrative. Is this the case in Europe? And last, but certainly not least, some words about the fantastic study you've done on Rotterdam. I'd like to get to the next. Just some basic facts. This is a small city. We like to think of ourselves as big, but it's a medium-sized city. It only has 635,000 inhabitants. It's still growing. And we try to count the nationalities, and the last count I could find was 174 nationalities, but it doesn't matter whether it's 168 or 175. There are many of them. And I think the most important feature of Rotterdam is that half of the population has a migrant background. And if you just walk around the city, in any neighborhood you walk around, you see actually that we have a lot of color in the streets. Half of the population has a migrant background. When you want to characterize the city, I think it's good to say that we are predominantly working class character. Average disposable income is not that high, but it's also not that low. It's average for the Netherlands, but it's lower if you compare it, for instance, with a city like Amsterdam, where it's quite higher. 100,000 people are employed in small and medium-sized enterprises. And unfortunately, a lot of people still depend on social benefits, and it's really, really hard to get them out of the social benefits. At the moment, as we speak, 35,000 people who have to live from an income from the employment benefit services, and 38,973 living from a social welfare benefit, which is the lowest income we have. If you have nothing at all, you can apply for a social welfare benefit at the municipality. And just to give you a small feature of this local government, every week they put the new figure of people who live on these social benefits. It says something about the way the current vice mayor responsible for work and income policies like to show that we still have a lot of work to do. So every week we have a new figure. So coming Monday, the next one, Friday, next one. There are a lot of students in the city. Of higher education, 65,000, but only 27,000 living in Rotterdam. And that's because a lot of the students come from the surroundings of the city studying in Rotterdam. Just some words about the identity of Rotterdam. I couldn't find recent statistics on if people feel more belonging to the city than to the state. A couple of years ago, we had these statistics, and then being a Rotterdammer scored very, very highly, above 90%, and being Dutch, being a Nederlander, scored around 70%. So, but it was a couple of years ago, and I couldn't find new statistics, but I assume that it's still the case. It's easier to belong to the city where you live in than to a country. And just some figures, recent figures, on the identity, that says something about the identity. 80% of the population in Rotterdam is content with the quality of life. 80% is quite high. But on the other side, 90% of the population, for them it's very difficult to make ends meet every day. And yes, it's dropping, which is nice, because it used to be 22%, but still there are way too many. 4% feel sometimes bothered or intimidated, and that relate also to incidents we see a lot of publications about in the news media. 78% is very satisfied with their own neighborhood, and what's interesting, that's also accountable for neighborhoods which are mainly populated with migrants. So that's also quite a very, very high figure. If you do support local initiatives, small local initiatives, long term, then you can really see how effective they can be on the ground. And I think it's good to have these kind of examples that it can be done. It's not easy, because if you really do want to make them successful, then the government, the local government, should make sure that they see all kind of talents, not only in earning directly money, but also in building a city, really building a neighborhood. So many disciplines are needed, and that's not something we're very good at, in really working together multidisciplinary. But it can be done, and we also have seen some beautiful examples in the study how you can do it. And as I said earlier, new enterprises provide new local jobs. And if we do make sure that we see them sooner, and make sure that some things they need, some conditions they need, that we provide for these conditions, like affordable language lessons, pathways to local markets or regional markets, not that complicated to do. Actually, we've done it for ages, but we have to make sure that we target it also to these new groups. Then I'm quite sure that we will be successful in getting this new narrative. Thank you very much.